you back with Monday's edition of Floating Head Chronicles. This is Messiah. Now, if you guys haven't noticed over the weekend, if you haven't seen the news reports, the New York Correctional Facility is now reported another death at the hands of correctional officers. Now, this is allegedly. We still, they're investigating currently. But before we talk about that, let's get into what this guy was incarcerated for. Okay, originally, you could read above what he was responsible with in 2021. So he did what he did, and then he was released on bail. Now, out on bail, he was accused of first and second degree attempted murder after an encounter with the police. They tried to arrest him, and then he fired at the police officers. He was hit, but then got some treatment for it and was fine. Now, if you could see the 19-year-old victim, and then there was another victim the following day. He was out on that bond at the time for the $300,000 and got picked up for this. They had surveillance of this guy. That's how they were able to identify him and go. They went through their cameras and asked the local area. They were able to find him. He only lived a couple blocks away, and pretty damning evidence, if you ask. So this correction facility is right across the street from where Robert Brooks Sr. was killed by correctional officers. That was caught on the body cam footage that we all watched. If you guys want to know more about Robert Brooks, please go watch Duty Ron on YouTube. He's got everything covered there for you to get more further information on that. But on the body cam footage, it showed severely the torture that this guy went through. Granted, he is a criminal. However, doesn't give you the right to do what they did, and we all got to see it on body cam footage that was absolutely devastating. So since then, it says 4 other inmates have died during this prison strike. So now we want to touch about this, because there has been a prison strike in the mix of all this chaos. Now, the officers that were involved in the Brooks case, there was about 11 of them, and they are being charged for what happened to Robert Brooks. So they will stand trial for that. Now, in this case, with the new one, Messiah, there was 11 officers that are being investigated right now for what happened to him. A lot of inmates complained that they heard and saw, like first he was crying, and then the officers went in there. They heard a lot of noises, and then they took him to medic. He was succumbed by his injuries and did not make it, and now there's an investigation going on. But let's touch on the strike. So the New York prison guards have been on strike for 2 weeks. So today, as of today, if they did not return to their job, they're going to be terminated. So they're saying that the legal strike has ended at most prisons, but it continues upstate in western New York, with thousands of correction workers facing possible fines, termination, and prosecution. So they had some staff return over the weekend, and some of them no longer will be allowed to work, and they will be terminated. So termination notices were sent to anyone that had been on strike for more than 11 consecutive work days. And they also stated, hey, now going forward, as of Monday, we are going to remove you and your dependents from health care. You're AWOL, you will not be eligible. So they are moving forward with that. Now, they stated they only, at this point, terminated a handful, less than 10 correction officers. And like I said, after 10 days in a row, and if they've missed their 11th shift, boom. So they plan on a couple more being terminated within the next couple days, and then terminating the health insurance for them. Now, at this time, the National Guard has stepped in to help, because we got all these people on strike. So they're stating that they spent $25 million in response to the strike, and approximately $106 million a month. Yikes. The taxes here must be crazy, but there's a lot that they were trying to fight for. So far, the union agreed to these extra, overtime shift money if they're forced to stay, retired members, and then $100 for overtime shifts on Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays. So that was one thing that they wanted for salary bumps and make it worth their while. However, there is concerns. So, out of all the states, 42 prisons have been walking out since February 17th, demanding the state address safety and staffing concerns. Members of the National Guard were called in, and visitation was canceled at facilities statewide. Now, this is serious. This is why people take bribes and stuff, because we're not compensating these guys for all of the stuff that they're put into. All of the issues that take place, officers are attacked on a regular basis. So it is also, if you don't take care of your people, like, this is why we keep ending up in the same predicament. Now, I just wanted to dive into this one because I saw a report earlier, and when I did some independent research on my own, I learned that the person who was reporting on it, they just said that, hey, he was incarcerated for 5 years. He was incarcerated for 5 years for his previous charges because he violated his, when he was out on bond. So and then he automatically does it. He has not even yet been charged for the deaths of the two other people. So that was still ongoing. So there was a report that he just only had 5 years left to go, and he's 22 years old and had his whole life. Honestly, with the damning footage they already have on him, chances are he's probably getting a life sentence in prison. However, it doesn't make it right that he was taken out by the correctional officers allegedly as well. So we got to look and do better here. Everybody's life, regardless if they've gotten into trouble or not, if they're convicted or not, you uphold the law. So even if you are the law, you should be upholding the law. If that's what you signed up to do, then you still have to remember these are people that have family. At the end of the day, there's people that care about these people, and your opinions and everything else needs to be put aside. And if you can't do that, then this ain't the job for you. But the fact that these officers would do this and others are around and they all witness it and watch it, in this case, the body cam footage was not either on or it was not pointing at what was going on. We will find out more once the investigation is done. However, this is a huge red flag for New York because this has been a consistent thing. And that's crazy that you go in there thinking, hey, I'm going to serve some time, and bam, no longer here. That's very frustrating. I think the rest of us want some answers on it, because even though he's still innocent until proven guilty, he hasn't gone through that secondary trial yet. However, doesn't mean he deserves to have his life taken unless he gets some sort of DP. And the state has already decided this is what is going to happen to him. However, we will never know what actually happens because his life was taken before he even got that determination. I don't know, man. It's like double-edged sword here where it's like, yeah, they're criminals. However, it seems like certain ones that then, depending on their charges, seem to have these weird fishy circumstances happen. I don't know. I'm just saying allegedly, but I want to know what you guys think. Please let me know in the comments section. And if you have further information, please send it my way, because now, like, I just can't. I was already into the Robert Brooks story, and now this on top of it, and they're right by each other with the strike going on. This is just insanity, and I think probably should be talking about it a little bit more. That's just me. But I hope you guys have the day you deserve, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Hit all the buttons.